The council chamber was my battlefield, though no blood was spilled there. The sound of thousands of voices layered upon one another in the grand hall had always thrilled me, a symphony of scales, shells, and fur echoing beneath vaulted light. The ceiling itself shimmered with energy fields displaying the great emblems of the council races. Ours, the proud Cathari crest, prominent among them. On that day, I tasted triumph before the speaker's words even began. For decades we had debated the nuisance of humanity, that upstart species crawling out of their damp cradle world called Earth. Too fast, too reckless, too stubborn. Their very existence embarrassed us. What we had accomplished with millennia of patient effort, they had achieved in mere centuries. They spread like fire, and fire is dangerous. So when the matter of GX 591 arose, a Class 0 death world, I knew the path. The planet was a horror by any measure. Gravity heavier than most of our frames could endure, oceans that boiled in daylight and froze at night, storms that screamed with constant lightning. To survive there was folly. To live there for a year was impossible. Yet we would not face it ourselves. The speaker announced the council's decision, a mission to establish an outpost on that death world. Volunteers would be selected. No one volunteered. Instead, I whispered where whispers mattered. I moved currents in hidden eddies of conversation, and the lot fell, predictably, satisfyingly, upon the humans. I watched them rise from their station. 6 in number, led by a female named Rebecca Hayes. Her frame was small, her face unreadable, her eyes steady. Her companions shuffled without order. One scratched his beard, another smiled irreverently at the gathered multitude. No dignity, no composure. Yet Hayes' voice, when she spoke, carried to the rafters. We accept the mission. No hesitation. No fear. No recognition of the noose we had placed around their throats. The chamber rippled with quiet amusement, scales shifting, mandibles clicking. The humans had signed their death warrant. The reports came in stages. I awaited them eagerly. First, the descent. The USS Horizon broke atmosphere under conditions that would have shredded our own craft. Winds over 180 miles per hour, air thick with oxygen that threatened combustion, lightning striking thrice every breath. The images flickered through the feed. The vessel shook, rattled, screamed. Yet it landed intact, scorched but whole. I was mildly disappointed. The planet had missed its chance to spare us the trouble. Next came the excursion. The council had equipped them with environmental suits. Bulky, inefficient, the kind designed more for show than survival. I had approved their specifications myself. Let them sweat and choke, let their joints grind in those shells. I waited to hear of their collapse. Instead, I saw the feed of them moving clumsily but stubbornly through the windswept terrain. Their environmental engineer, Mark Dalton, cursed the suits, calling them garbage. Their xenobiologist, Alan Price, scraped samples of red moss and discovered it carried electricity from the lightning into the soil. He called it a living power grid. And then the moment came that stilled the chamber of observers. Rebecca Hayes stopped, her helmet misted with condensation. She reached up, unlatched it, and pulled it free. Gasps rippled among us. No species of the council would dare. The air was acrid, full of sharp gases and spores enough to scar lungs. She breathed, coughed once, straightened. Smiled. Breathable, she said. The others hesitated only a moment before following. One by one, the humans shed their armor and filled their lungs with poison, yet it did not kill them. Their cheeks flushed, their movements grew easier. Where we saw death, they found strength. I said nothing, but something coiled inside me then, unease tightening its grip. Days became weeks. GX 591 hurled fury at them, as it always had. The predators came first, 6-limbed hunters with jaws like serrated cleavers. The humans fought them with fire, with metal rods sharpened to points. One predator died skewered, the rest fled, their screams swallowed by the storm. Then came the quake, magnitude 8 by our measures, enough to reduce shelters to rubble. The council expected distress calls, evacuation requests. Instead, the humans rebuilt. They carved into the rock, reinforcing with flexible supports. They turned caves into bunkers, blending metal and stone until their shelters bent with the earth instead of breaking against it. Reports showed them hunting, cooking, even laughing. They stripped down to light garments, their pale skins bronzing in the relentless sun. They joked over meals, their eyes bright with a kind of madness I could not name. Where other species endured, they thrived. Then came the discovery. Alan Price followed unusual energy readings into the northern mountains. Hayes led the expedition herself. What they uncovered chilled every scholar who saw the recordings. Beneath the stone lay ruins, vast, humming with energy drawn from the planet's storms. Vaults filled with inscriptions, machines still alive after millennia. The markings were Nahevi. Every culture knew the name. They were the architects of much of what we now possessed, the forebears of the Council's oldest members. We had long believed they perished, unable to endure the harsh worlds they shaped. Yet here was proof their works endured, humming and waiting. The humans did not retreat in reverence. They entered boldly. They deciphered, activated, studied. They walked through chambers we would not touch, triggered defenses we would not risk, and emerged alive. Hayes spoke to her crew of libraries, of power systems, of a civilization that had transcended their flesh. And we understood the cruel irony. We had sent them to die clearing a path to Nahevi's secrets. Instead, they had seized the secrets for themselves. 3 months later, I was chosen to accompany Delegate Serin to the colony. As our vessel descended through the storm clouds, I comforted myself with illusions. Perhaps the humans survived, but barely. Perhaps they had retreated into savagery, fighting each day for scraps. The craft settled on stone, and the illusion shattered. Humans greeted us barefaced, their bodies strong, their skins bronzed and healthy. Structures of storm metal and stone rose around them, glowing with Nahevi energy. Children ran laughing in the dust, children on GX 591, while adults carried tools or stood watch. Serin's voice trembled with rage. You have violated protocol. The technology was to be secured, not exploited. Rebecca Hayes met him calmly. Protocol. Her voice was level, clear. You sent us here to die. You lied to us, and you failed. Serin's frills flattened. You will relinquish control of this site to the Council immediately. No, Hayes said, not shouted, simply stated. We will share what we learn, but only as equals. Earth will not be your pawn nor your servant. We are partners, or we are nothing. I saw it then in her eyes, certainty. Not hope, not ambition, certainty. She had already won. We returned to our vessel in silence. Serin's hands shook as he composed his report. I said nothing, for words had abandoned me. That night I stood at the viewport, watching GX 591's storms rage below. Lightning forked across oceans, thunder rolled through valleys, and in that chaos, humans built a home. I thought of the whispers in the council chamber, of the smirk on Dalton's face, of Hayes breathing poison as though it were spring air. We had believed them fragile. We had believed them reckless. We had believed death worlds would break them. Instead, they belonged to death worlds. The proverb formed itself. Beware the worlds you cast humans upon. They return not as exiles, but as masters.